A wolf sits 30 paces from a man and does not move. The man looks at the wolf. The wolf looks back. Seconds pass. Neither of them moves. Why do some animals never run from us? Why do some, against every instinct, simply stay? It is not magic, and it is not taming. It is older than that. Older than farms. Older than cities. Older than writing. It is written into their blood. Written across 1,000 generations of contact with our kind. To understand it, you have to go back. Way back. Back to a time when every large animal on Earth shared one terror. Us. A small figure walks a cold plain 2 million years ago. Small. Bipedal. Upright, but armed with something no other predator had. Endurance, coordination, hands that could throw, an animal that walked upright and never stopped. That alone was reason enough to run. But the prey did not always know what we were yet. In a cold, dry grassland, a herd grazes. A small group of figures approaches. They do not sneak. They do not hide. They just keep coming. And then the horses see them, and the horses run. Most prey animals do. It is the oldest rule on the savannah. See a shape. Decide if it is dangerous. Run before it is too late. That decision takes less than a second, and it is wired in. Fear is inherited, not learned. Not all animals are the same size. A mammoth weighs 6 tons. The hunter at his feet weighs 60 kilograms. And the hunter is the danger. Even the largest animals learn that lesson. Cave bears, for 100 kilograms of muscle, gave up their dens to us. We did not need claws. We had fire, and a sound the bear could not place. Fire was the great equalizer. Most predators could not stand the smoke, the noise, the light. And the megafauna learned too. They saw us, and they moved aside, without panic, without sound. That was 50,000 years ago, give or take. Across thousands of generations, every large animal on Earth learned to fear us. Mammoth, rhino, bison, horse, sloth, all of them. When our ancestors walked into a valley, the prey left. When our ancestors walked into a valley, the predators left too. Even the great cats gave us room. We did not even have to chase most of them. Just the sight of us was enough. The whole landscape feared us, and that fear had a price, because some of those animals could not run fast enough or far enough. Between roughly 50 and 10,000 years ago, something dramatic happened. Most of the megafauna vanished. Mammoth, woolly rhino, cave bear, giant sloth, steppe bison, gone. Many scientists think we did it, not on purpose, but the slow pressure of one new predator applied across the entire planet. A predator that never slept, that crossed oceans and froze with the climate. Animal after animal, valley after valley, the balance tipped. But not all of them disappeared. The ones that survived did something clever. They learned us. They learned what we were going to do next, almost before we did it. The herd that froze when a stick figure was still walking survived. The herd that bolted at every shadow burned calories and got caught. Fear costs energy. So evolution began to weigh fear against hunger. When a figure is far, the cost of fleeing is higher than the risk of staying. When a figure is close, and the body language says hunt, that changes in a heartbeat. So animals learned to read us. Read our posture, our stride, our gaze. Turn your back, and the prey relaxes. The eyes are the signal. Look at an animal sideways, and it knows. Stare at one, and it bolts. Sit still with your head down, and the herd grazes back. That is the truth almost nobody talks about. Prey animals were watching us the whole time, learning us back. A deer that knows when you're not looking at it can keep eating. A rabbit that knows your gaze from 50 meters keeps its life. Two intelligences watching each other across the field. The herd grazes. The hunters wait. The herd grazes more. Sometimes the band walks right past without a single head lifting. That is not the absence of fear. It is fear perfectly calibrated. Fear, not absent, but measured. But there's another story, older, stranger, and far less well known. Not all animals learn to run from us. Some learn the opposite. They learn to come closer. Not fear, but approach. Hyenas circled our camps at night. They waited for the leavings. And bit by bit, generation by generation, they came closer. It is called the camp follower theory. Around every human camp, certain animals began to orbit. Wolves were among them. Not pack wolves. Solitary ones. The ones that would not or could not hunt on their own. A bold wolf that could tolerate a fire and a shouting band of upright apes had a free meal every night. A timid wolf that ran at the first sound of a thrown bone starved. And so boldness was selected generation by generation. Year by year, the wolves at the edge of the fire got a little closer. 1,000 years later, the wolves lay inside the light, and the people let them, not by taming, not by command, by a slow, mutual tolerance built on thousands of shared nights. Biologists call this self-domestication. The animal chose us as much as we chose it. And the moment a wolf no longer flinched at human presence, that animal was halfway to being a dog. Long before any human said, "This is my dog," the wolf had already stopped running. The same thing happened with birds, with rats, with a dozen other small opportunists. Birds that feared the camp got nothing. Birds that tolerated it got a banquet. 10,000 years later, those birds are pigeons. The bold ones stayed, and the timid ones starved. A wolf that does not flinch when a man walks past is not brave. It is the descendant of wolves that were not afraid. It is the entire engine. Selection for tolerance, repeated across millennia. Imagine the line of wolves from 100,000 years ago to today, each one a little less afraid than the last. By the time anyone called the animal a dog, the dog was already inside the wolf. The wolf had already been walking beside the hunter for 10,000 years. Hyenas never became dogs, but they, too, lost their fear. A hyena that does not bolt when a man stands up is not crazy. It is a survivor's great-grandchild. Across the whole planet, animal behavior was quietly being retuned. And so the wolf at the fire, the very first wolf, was the same wolf we still see in every city today. A rabbit on a path that does not bolt when a hiker passes is the descendant of rabbits that watched 1,000 hunters pass without raising their spears. A pigeon in a city square is the descendant of rock doves that nested in cliffs near our camps and learned that humans meant scraps, not death. It is the same story again and again in every species that ever shared a landscape with us. The animal that does not fear you is, in some way, an animal we helped make. Two species side by side, both changed forever by the same fire. The animals that walked with us shaped us the way we shaped them. It was a long, quiet conversation, held in glances and footfalls. And it is still happening in every animal that does not run from you today. So the next time an animal does not flinch, remember what that means. It does not mean the animal trusts you. It means its ancestors decided 10,000 years ago that you are not worth running from. And that, more than any leash, is how the world got the way it is.